We hear a lot these days about the divine feminine, but so often it's turned into something almost unreachable, an objectified, airy idea of light and love without much grounding in reality. What we have here today are three women who, for me, embody what the divine feminine truly is: real, grounded, and deeply human. They are healers in the truest sense, women who live in genuine relationship with their ancestors, moving with sensitivity and humility between the seen and unseen worlds. Each of them is a living expression of the cosmic mother, nurturing, life-giving, and endlessly committed to the well-being of their people. Affectionately known as the Lioness, Her Royal Highness Queen Elouise is an esteemed leader of the Korana people of Southern Africa. Her Highness holds a doctorate in education, arts, and culture, yet chose to leave behind a life of comfort to follow the call of the Great Spirit and her ancestors. Guided by prophecy, the Great Spirit, and ancestral calling, she fearlessly and successfully reclaimed sacred land connected to the Khoi and San peoples for her people. A living vessel of her ancestors' spirit and a true voice of one of humanity's most ancient lineages, Queen Elouise now serves as chairperson of the International Korana Kingdoms Council, working toward the restoration and unification of all Khoi and San tribes across Southern Africa. It's an enormous, enormous honor to have you here with us today, Queen Elouise. Once again, you've been a huge mentor for me and an inspiration for me, and you've helped restore my faith in my own self through the conversations that we've had. So I'm deeply grateful for you for joining us today. Gogo Masechaba, which means grandmother of the nation in Sotho, is an initiated Sangoma, a traditional healer and diviner of Swati, Ndembele, Sotho lineages. She is a profound and much respected traditional medicine practitioner, using ritual, ceremony, and storytelling as pathways for deep transformation. She helps restore balance between body, spirit, and the natural world, guiding others to remember their connection with their ancestors, the earth, and themselves. It's an enormous honor once again to have you with us. Lindy, Gobo, you've helped me enormously in my own journey. We had a fabulous conversation through Craig Foster when we first met, which helped inspire this gathering. There were certain things that we discussed about the spirits of Southern Africa, the ancestors that call Southern Africa their home, that have helped reshape and remold our entire vision for this gathering. So I'm very grateful to you, and I'm grateful for you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Lastly, we have Aunty Puna. Aunty Puna is an internationally honored elder of Hawaii and record keeper of Hawaiian culture and history. From Kauai, her lineage traces to the royal families of the Hawaiian kingdom, as well as to Kahula, which means hula masters, Kalua, which means the lua masters, and Kahuna, which are the huna masters. As board chair and director of indigenous programming for Coherence Lab and a steward of Kaiulu, she travels in the footsteps of her ancestors to Europe, Asia, and beyond, strengthening cultural bridges and supporting world peace. As she says, we didn't found Kaiulu, it founded us. Aunty Puna, once again, you've mentored me from the beginning with this. You've provided support both in the seen and unseen realms that I feel every day. This wouldn't be happening in the way that it's happening without you. So I just want to honor you, and I want to thank you for your selflessness and the support that you've provided me with from the beginning. Thank you, Aunty Puna.
Mahalo nui loa. Mahalo.
So if we can, ladies, I'd like to start by asking Queen Elouise, not to put you on the spot, but whenever we talk, you end up singing the most beautiful songs. And I thought that to start this incredible conversation, if it's not too much trouble, maybe you could sing a song for our listeners and for everybody on this call.
Okay. No, you're not putting me on the spot. You're just putting me on the spot.
I'm sorry.
All right. The first song that comes to mind, you've made a reference to it earlier. You spoke about the sun, and the song says, if the sun, the moon, and the stars can work together, why can't we? I'm going to sing it in our ancient language, and it goes like this. Soropse kamike kambukuye. Soropse kamike kambukuye. Wakuye, wakuye, kambukuye. Wakuye, wakuye, kambukuye. Soropse kamike kambukuye. Soropse kamike kambukuye. Wakuye, wakuye, kambukuye. Wakuye, wakuye, kambukuye. Wakuye, wakuye, kambukuye. Wakuye, wakuye, kambukuye. If the sun, the moon, and the stars can work together, why can't we?
So incredibly
And thank
beautiful.
you.
I'm sure we all understand now why I asked for that. As cheeky as it was, it's just I could sit here all day and
We
listen to
do.
you ladies sing. Queen Elouise, you very graciously received me onto your land when I first came to South Africa. When I came down to start to organize this incredible gathering that's taking place. You told me a story on your land that has stuck with me ever since, and as I mentioned earlier, has helped strengthen my faith purely because of how practical your faith is and how you were willing to take action based upon the instructions given to you by the Great Spirit and by your ancestors, despite all odds. I think it would be lovely for our listeners to hear from your own words, from your own mouth, that incredible story of how you reclaimed that land.
Thank you so much, Dominic, and Aunty Puna and Gogo Lindy. Thank you so much for allowing me to share with you this incredible journey. I have been exposed to the rights of the indigenous people in 2020 when I was introduced to the UNDRIP, the United Nations Declarations for the Rights of Indigenous People. At that stage, I wasn't as familiar to what our rights really were as indigenous people. But from the moment I was introduced to it, I believe it is the Great Spirit that drew me to a place where I just wanted to know more and more about the rights of our people. Because as you well know, our people, the Kwe and the Kam, also known as the Khoi and the San in South Africa, Southern Africa, had been marginalized through ages, almost 400 years now. But then I was introduced to this UNDRIP, and when I saw that there are vacant land that we could reclaim based on our ancestral and historical lineage, I couldn't understand why it had not been taken and instructed by the Great Spirit and our ancestors. We went, and I said to my husband and my children, if you are not going to go with me, I'm going alone, because this is not just for us as a family, but this is for us as a nation, because we're a sovereign nation and this nation needs restoration. And I do believe that the hand of the Great Spirit had been on us all along, because there had been a number of attempts to remove us from the land, but we didn't even have to fight. We stood our ground, but we relied on the Great Spirit, who had prophesied, obviously, over my life years ago. And I did not give heed to it then. But now I realize those were the prophecies spoken over my life that I did not really give heed to, But now we are living it. And the deeper we go, the more we live there, the more it comes, it was as if it was placed in a back burner. and now I see things happening. I'm going to just let you know there was a time in 2022 when we visited the king of Mozambique, and I don't know whether I've told you this, Dominic. We visited him. He was in Pretoria, and we met up in Pretoria. They then took us to a mountain in Gauteng. And when we were on that mountain, it's a plateau type of mountain. When we were on that mountain, my husband, King Jacques, said, "Let us pray in the 4 different wind directions." So I had to pray into east. And for me, it's very significant because east is where the sun rises from. So we prayed into those different wind directions that the Great Spirit and our ancestors will come and restore us, to our fullness. And not only us as a people in South Africa, but worldwide. We prayed into that. And as when we were done and I opened my eyes, I saw Africa. I saw a cloud. Let me say, rather go back. I saw a cloud in the form of Africa. In a clear blue sky, I saw this white formation of Africa. And as we were I actually obviously called to everybody to look up. And as we were looking at it, we saw Madagascar forming as a part. It moved a bit away from Africa. And I could, it was something huge for me. So now we are at a place where Africa is being incorporated into the WTA. So that was prophetic. That was a prophetic sign of the Great Spirit and our ancestors to show us where we were really going. So having taken the land and providing a livelihood for more than 4,000 households now already is part of the bigger picture where WTA becomes recognized by our people as well. So yes, having reclaimed the land is far bigger than what we can think. Thanks, Dominic.
I believe so too, Queen Elouise. I think that you're listening to the guidance that you received from your ancestors, taking action on that. And I think that's a massive lesson for all of us, is to have the faith to actually take action on the messages that we receive. And then acting as inspiration for those 8,000 individuals, I believe, that live on your land now, showing them that it's important to listen to those subtle waves of frequency that move through us, that intuitive voice that often gets numbed down by, the outside world. As I said earlier, you've certainly been an enormous inspiration for me, and I feel that you'll be an enormous inspiration for all of the elders that are joining us in Southern Africa. There is one thing I'd like to share, which is that there is this unfortunate, I suppose you could say, commonality between all of the elders that I've been lucky enough to experience, whether from Norway, Hawaii, Peru, Brazil, Southern Africa, which is that you all seem to be walking as a beacon of light for your communities, your leaders, and you're so carefully protecting what Gobo and I describe to be this flame that feels precarious because it's flickering, but it's actually eternal, but it feels precarious.
Yes.
And as leaders, you're protecting that because you understand through the lives you've lived and the communications that you enjoy how potent and how sacred and how essential that flame is for all of humanity. But you're protecting it against a world that up until very recently doesn't understand the value of it always. And so what I've felt from the phone calls that I've had and the interactions that I've had is that there's a certain loneliness in that. And there's a certain, I don't want to say desperation in it, because there's so much faith involved. But what I have felt and experienced is this, is the reassurance suddenly that there are other people around the world who understand in a way that people like myself cannot understand what it's meant to carry that ancient sacred lineage forward in a world that doesn't always respect it, and that now you'll all be walking together. And that's something that has inspired me from the beginning with the WTA and Mahanji, is the thought of all of you elders finally, once and for all, having people that understand you, and also to bring you together so that those flames join and become this incredible inferno of light, which I believe will act as a beacon to the world. And Queen Elouise in particular, but not in particular, but I will say from the conversations we've had and the experience I had on your land, the last 5 years from you have obviously been challenging. So what I wanted to ask was whether you feel that, whether you feel this reassurance that comes from the Council of Elders and walking finally hand in hand with people that understand the struggle that you've been on.
I must tell you, Dominic, quite honestly, when this opportunity came, when I was informed that I would be part of this group of elders, these formidable and strong, gifted, faith-based elders, elders that are living prophecies. It was at a time where I felt I I had the facade of everything is okay, but I felt inside that it's as if I'm running against a brick wall. And yeah, I was included in a group of elders that I can relate to. People that because though I haven't met them personally, I read about them. And I knew that here are people that I, like I said, can relate to, and I know that what we have been assigned to do, the mission that had been placed on in our laps, we can only attain and complete it by linking to one another, hooking onto one another, and become this one circle where we become part of healing across the globe. You know, that had lifted my spirits. That had brought me back from becoming desolate, because there was a time that I really felt, oh, I'm tired. I questioned whether I was aligned with where the Great Spirit wanted me to go. And lo and behold, he sends you and he sends these elders, and I knew that I'm not doing this for nothing. I am going to see, we are going to see, and we're going to eat the fruit of our labor, because we've been obedient to the leading of the Spirit.
So beautiful. Aunty Puna, thank you, Queen Elouise. Aunty Puna, you've again helped me enormously in understanding the power and the necessity of surrender to a greater plan, not overthinking, not over controlling. I think what I'd love to hear from you is what are the islands of Hawaii? What is the ocean? What are the winds of Hawaii telling you now? What do you feel the Great Mother's plan is for humanity?
Much like you, Queen Elouise, and you, Gogo, the breadth of who we are and all that is continues to come to the forefront. And you know, in my culture, and I'm going to say it this way, in my culture, our hands are always in this position, so that we don't put our hands like this. It's like mahalo, keakua. Thank you, Great Spirit, for the gifts, the challenges, the lives, the things that continue to show, especially in this time of great need. You know, our prophecy, and I hope I'm answering your question, Dominic, but I have to start there, because oftentimes things are put in front of us, like what you said, queen put in front of us that makes us wonder, am I really on the right path? Am I really listening to what spirit is saying, or is some of the influences because of what falls in front of us? I mean, you take 3 steps and you've got 14 that pull you back. It's like this constant wave and motion of emotion, compassion, gratitude, all of these feelings that come, and you wonder, oh my goodness, am I really understanding what I'm being told or what I'm being shown? And prophecy told us that we would come to a time where all the leadership of the world would change. And that would be the beginning of the second aloha. So in our culture, we use that word aloha because it describes the characteristics of we as a people. And I'm sorry for giving you such a long explanation, but it helps to create the foundation of understanding. So in the first aloha, this was expression to help us understand, we as individuals, the kind of things that we needed to be and understand with ourselves first. So in your culture, we start with ourselves, and then our connections to our families, and then our extended family, and it just goes out and out and out. So the responsibility, in my bio, it says all about ali'i and, kings and queens. And both of you know that as the queens of your community and your country, it does not mean you sit up here. It means that you sit here. You're at the bottom holding your people up, right? And so all the prophecies that have helped to guide us, many things are thrown in front of us to detract us from that truth. And so this idea of saying thank you, it begins there. That aloha is individual. It tells us how we should be, that first one, how we should be, how we should always look to ourselves and be kind to ourselves. And being kind is not being selfish. It's being understanding that if I come from a place of kindness, I care for myself, take care of myself, my ability to share that kindness it happens because I'm coming from a well of this intention. In the second one, it reminds us that our families are who we, in front of us, behind of us, above us, below us, all those that came before us, prepared, and it's indigenous, prepared for where we would be now, why we are in the moment of now. Understanding that without the past, if we didn't have all the challenges and the history and the learning that came from before, that came through our families, through our history, and especially through the responsibilities that we hold, that our ability to look and see what is in our hands, things that we are able to do, which is exactly what you did. You saw it. Things came to you. You're inspired because our ancestral history has put us in these places to make us be the foundation, to help to lift everybody up. We live in this ocean of time, and we're all connected by the Oceania, but it is also through the breath. So when I say that first aloha was to describe how we should be as individuals, how we care for ourselves, our family, our community, and then it continues to help us understand diversity and the expression of life that comes through other cultures. Everybody has a piece of this big blanket of peace that we are a part of. When I heard about this gathering, I thought, oh my goodness, I would love to be there. And thank goodness to AI, it all happens. but it is when we share breath. So in my culture, if I put my hands here, and I'm going to ask you to do that, put your hands right here and breathe into your hands. Breathe into your hands. And that is the first syllable of the word Hawaii, the breath. Lift that up. So now our families are all talking to each other. You know how that goes. When you come together, you say, oh, I'm related to so-and-so's sisters, brothers, cousins, auntie, you know, that idea. And that's what's happening right now. All of our families are all making the connection to one another because we're one people of this world, of this ocean of time. And then it says, rub your belly buttons. Okay, we all have belly buttons. Rub your belly buttons. We come from the Hawaii, or we come from the wombs of our mothers. We all do. And in that word Hawaii, that is what we're talking about. The wombs of our mothers. We come from that Hawaii. We come from that waters. And then it says E. Iona Lani is that universal God or good, as we understand Pono or Great Spirit, right? So Hawaii is really the breath and the waters of this universal good. So you see, it's not just the islands. It has nothing to do with the islands. It has to do with us as a people. In the second Aloha, it talks about how we are united. And so this aunt who helped to continue to give instruction, and that is my aunt, Pilahi Paki, to give instruction that we would see the prophecies that would occur over time. And when the leadership of the world changed, and that all happened in November of this year, this past year, the leadership changed. And when that happened, the fabric of life that would hold on to the truth would be the families of the world. That our leadership and our leaders and, you know, the governments are not the caregivers and the caretakers of the people. It is us, we, the people. And one to one, that relationship of aloha, alo is to share space. This is our space. But the breath, we share space, we share thought, we share resources, we share. Our world of aloha is exactly that. It is about us being able to share what we have to help one another in this time, this trying time, because our world has become a place, our governments have become and have been a place of acquisition without responsibility. So, you know, knowing that this gathering is a prayer of mahalo or thanksgiving. It is a second aloha in action or motion. And that is the thrilling part. Yes, we are always saying thank you, mahalo. And you see, my hands are like this. But when we pick up our mo'opuna, when we pick up our children, grandchildren, right? We hold them at the elemu, on their butts, and we hold them at their heads. And so it's like this, and thanksgiving for them, right? And so when we can be in that kind of thanksgiving and appreciate what we've been blessed with, even the challenges, you know, the opportunity for us to take the best of the past, care for it here in the present, which is what we're all doing, taking care of it here in the present to ensure, like our ancestors, that it would be here for all those that come after us. So, you know, the second aloha is very strong. It says, Alamai kalahui, let us be one with the world, one world. Alamai kalahui, laula e kaulana. Let this unfolding of our histories intertwine, come together, share, not separation, no separation, because we are all motioning in our respective kuleana or space or responsibility. We all have a purpose and a value. And that is what I believe our opportunity in understanding alamai kalahui, laula e kaulana, o mai kalehulehu, what is going to be what we leave for those that come after us? What is going to be the legacy that we leave? I'm going to say, I'm so happy to be a part of people and cultures that want to lead the best and not the least, the best for all those that come after us, just like our ancestors. Through all the challenges, I mean, every single one of the cultures around the world all have very similar stories. But when you come to the foundation and you look at the foundation, what do we step on? We step on truth. And how do we step? We step with our families, with our lineage, our history, but even more so in the preparation for all those that we have been given to us, to be nurtured, to be held, to be breathed, that life. No? It says, Ha'aheo e na Hawaii. Ha'aheo is, let us celebrate as one people in this ocean of time, sharing responsibility for each area of our world. It is our world. And selfish to think there is only one universe, but the universe that we are in now and we are blessed with, it is our kuleana. It is our responsibility. So, e kalamaia'u, Dominic, for having such a long answer, but the intention really has to do with what I believe we're all saying. We're saying thank you. Mahalo, mahalo, mahalo. We can only create the next and the next and the next if we come from this place of appreciation, gratitude. And it is the ali'i or the kings, queens that are at the bottom, not at the top. Here, holding and lifting and lifting and lifting and lifting in Thanksgiving. Mahalo.
Mahalo to you.
I'm so
Wow.
thrilled to be here.
So incredibly
Wow.
beautiful, Aunty Puna, as always. And you've touched on something which, again, I've been fortunate enough to have, so unbelievably fortunate. Sometimes I have to pinch myself to have a front row seat to, which is there is a common thread that very clearly runs throughout every continent, every lineage,
Yes.
and every elder, which is this one of, it's one of, I say it's one of humility, because you elders have touched something so sacred that I think we're left with no choice but to be humble. Gratitude, which you've touched upon there, which is, I feel so important. And again, I feel it's inevitable. I feel like once you touch the divine in the ways that you all have, through the lives that you've very deliberately led, we are left with nothing but gratitude, just for the immensity of the creation, if nothing else, just the extraordinary beauty of the creation. And third, it's authenticity. And that's something that all of the elders in our council share. And I feel, if anything, it's maybe even the most important, because you're giving your communities, you're giving the people of the world permission to be themselves, finally, and to stop holding up this idea that they feel they have to plant in people's heads around them because of the reality that we find ourselves in. And so I want to thank you so deeply, Aunty Puna, for that answer, because it was extraordinary. And, it's funny, isn't it? Because we come into these situations. I came into the situation of hosting this podcast. And of course, out of respect for all of you, I've done preparation. But as you're talking, I'm realizing how futile these questions that I may have come with are, because in actual fact, which is the lesson Aunty Puna has been trying to drum into my brain now since we first met, there is a bigger plan, and there is a consciousness and an intelligence that knows better, and it is about ultimately trusting that. So in that spirit, Gobo, perhaps there's something that you'd like to share with us, and I won't even ask the question. I'd like for you just to share from your heart what you feel you'd like to share.
Again, mahalo, Aunty Puna. And in my language, we would be saying Togozan as you speak. And as you can see, again, it's two hands, one receiving and one giving, and in humility. So that Togozan for us literally means be joyful. And it is being joyful and be grateful for whatever we receive. So we say that in acknowledgement. We say that in greeting. We say that in saying thank you. We say that in saying, I see you and I hear you. And I just really, really felt when you explained, it just landed. It might have been a different language, but it resonated with Togozan. That's all I could hear. And so I really just want to honor both of you, Queen Elouise and Aunty Puna, and really say, Dominic, that, maybe it's good that he didn't ask a question, because I'll probably just be continuing to where these amazing, amazing, amazing divine women have spoken about the community, about the Thanksgiving. The past few days, the messages that I have been receiving. And that's another thing about this humbling work that we do, is the message of the ancestors of the land, the ancestors of my people. More than anything, the excitement that is there about this gathering has been so manifold. And when Queen Louise, you spoke about, you get to a time where you feel desolate and just disillusioned and say, I'm tired. Am I still on track? Am I following the mandate? Am I doing the assignment? Is it worth it all? When we come across the hurdles that we come across. And yet, every day when I wake up in the morning, I go and give gratitude. I give gratitude for that which is even coming. Gratitude even for the hurdles, which I have chosen to call them the divine trickster energy, because that is what teaches us when we are helping. Because sometimes part of the learning or my learning, it has been that when we do this work, sometimes the ego gets in the way and we think we're above problems. We think, I'm doing the work for them. I'm doing the work for the ancestors and God, and surely my journey should flow and should be smooth. I should not be struggling to pay rent at home because I have given up so much. I have my doctorate, as you say, and yet I'm doing this, and things should be coming easily. And the learnings that we get from there is through this divine trickster that comes and say, I see that you want to go from A to B, but I will give you a detour. And that detour is one to humble you so that you can look within. And you spoke so beautifully, Aunty Puna, to say the work that we do can never be done without starting here. We start here. We start with, what are my shadows? What is it that I'm battling? And it's only when I have come home to myself that I can only be, and then I can be able to meet others. So I can only meet others as far as I have met myself, all of who I am, the dark and the light. And so the disc that has been coming the first few days is one of excitement. And that's another thing that I've learned, that, when I grew up and I've learned and I started this journey 20 years ago when I was called as a Sangoma, I thought that I would say yes to this calling and the ancestors would deliver everything that we need, because I've said yes, I've given up so much. And over the years, I have been humbled to learn that our ancestors of the land, they have chosen us they have said yes to us doing this, not so that we can leave or so that we can look to them to deliver, but they have done that because part of our journey is to heal them as well. And in healing them, we are healing the land. And in healing the land, we are empowering them to be able to give us guidance. And so the excitement that I have received from the ancestors about this gathering, they said it's long overdue. Not just because it's homecoming, Dominic, not because it's homecoming, but because it's given so much that all of these amazing, what they said was that this beautiful thing that they are seeing is that they're seeing their children come home and saying to the ancestors of the continent, we went away to the different places and we found families and we followed what we were asking in different ways, in different colors. And we are coming home to say thank you to Africa. We are coming home to replenish. So this gift, this coming home, this gathering is not just a gift to the land. It is gifting the land with so much needed medicine that we are stuck, in Southern Africa. And if it starts here on the Table Mountain, which is the earth element of the world, then everything that grows from there will ripple out and will be a ripple effect. So it's a medicine that we are receiving, but will also be giving to our Mother Earth, because all of these incredible souls that will be stepping their feet on this soil is medicine. So there is great excitement in the ancestors of the land. There's excitement that the children are coming home, but they're coming home not empty-handed. They're coming home carrying these bags of medicine that they are coming to say it was not in vain. All of it was not in vain. We are bringing here, and this medicine is to heal this beautiful land, beautiful country that is so much in need of that. And I think the message that, all of the ones that had vision that may have come in prophecy, but also may not even realize, was that if we start here where the root is, where the source is, it will sprinkle out, it will ripple out. And so to each and every one of us who sometimes feel, as I sometimes do, just exhausted by the journey, I think the ancestors of the land are also saying, you're coming here to be breastfed by the mama of Mama Africa. You're coming here to be replenished as well, so that you go and, when you've been home. I just came home now from Swaziland because that's where my ancestors are from. Just stepping on that soil, I didn't have to do anything. I just felt renewed. I felt replenished. I felt like I was ready to take on the world, coming back here. And I feel that is something that is going to be gifted to each of us who are going to gather that. So we're going to be receiving this beautiful gift of homecoming. We're going to be receiving the medicine of just stepping on the soil of Table Mountain, on those ley lines that will go all the way to the Egyptian places, the meridians that runs on the land through the whole of Africa, through Tanganyika, through all the way up to Egypt. That also runs in our the same meridian. So there's the replenishment that I feel we're going to be receiving. And in return, because we will be, that's why there's co-creation. We all then co-create together the great medicine that is needed by the globe right now. So this is an incredible time to be alive. And I'm so humbled and so incredibly excited that I got to be invited to this feast, because it is a feast. It is a feast of learning.
Absolutely.
It is a feast of sharing of each other. It is a feast of reconnecting and saying, oh my goodness, what did you learn? You were sent to Hawaii. You were sent to this place. What did you learn? What are you bringing back home to Mother Africa? And therefore, also you saying there is medicine that never left this land, the medicine that has overcome colonization, the medicine that overcame everything that was put on us, and it's still standing, the ancestral medicine. And that is what everyone is receiving. That's the party pack that everyone will be receiving and going home. So there is a lot of excitement. I can't stop speaking from the Africans. And it's bubbling. It's really bubbling. It's a humbling thing. It is a time when you're like, okay. Now it was not all for nothing. Like, when you're at school and you know that your big sisters and your big brothers are coming, you're like, you go see. You're going to see. And that's how it feels. And I have so much gratitude to all of
Such a celebration.
So incredibly beautiful.
So when you speak like that, we will say Nabetsi Tikuap, Nabetsi. That means all praise. Nabetsi. That is all praise to our Creator, the God of all.
It's yeah, I don't think it was you talking, Gobo, somehow. I wouldn't apologize. I think there was something else talking through you there, and thanks be to God that they were, because you've illuminated all of us.
I can't take them anywhere. They'll just come and pop out when I'm trying to be very,
That's it, and thank God they do. And so incredibly beautiful. I think everybody watching this now has a big beaming smile on their face. I'm quite sure of it, because there is this energy that connects every human heart. It's that energy that's talking through all of you incredible ladies now, and it's such an honor and a blessing to be here for it. It really is. And one of the things you touched upon there, Gobo, which has come through me actually recently, is something that I can't escape. It's a very loud thought in my head, which is that the elders of the world are the ones who are coming to this gathering. They're people, of course, but they're actually mouthpieces of the land that they've calibrated into. So when you all talk, I don't hear people talking per se. I hear the land. I hear this wisdom that is, percolated through you and your ancestors, through what Zach Bush described as thousands of years of silence and patience. And that wisdom is percolating through you, and it's medicine, and it's not just words. When all three of you are talking, the words are there and they're incredibly poetic and beautiful, but there's something else that's coming through, which is deeply healing, and it's heart opening, and it's reassuring, because we find ourselves in this world. We're born and incarnated into this world, which is so separate, and it's scary, and it's not a safe place for us to be ourselves. Hasn't been. I should say it hasn't been. But it's through the tireless work of people like yourselves that we are being given a different option as a humanity, and that's something that's very close to Mahanji's heart, which is that it's not humanity's fault if they're making choices without all of the information that they need to make the right choice. And so it's people like you and lineages like yours that you represent that are giving humanity a different option. And I, for one, believe that hearts will awaken in response to this gathering and other similar gatherings. And I think people are actually yearning for this. I think that they are starving for this mother, for the cosmic mother to embrace them again and tell them it's all okay. And as a final thing, because we're not here to listen to me speak, what again I felt from the beginning since I first stepped foot in South Africa, and this is a sentiment that Craig and I share very deeply, is that the mother gave us the ability in this Garden of Eden, which we're visiting and which two of you call home, for independent thought. She gave us that gift, which we are singular among the creatures of Earth, of true creative independent thought. I can't speak for the dolphins and the whales. I have a suspicion they have a similar ability, but ours is manifested on our planet, and it's manifested in many different ways, as we know. And so the feeling I have and that Craig has, which Gobo has spoken to, is that Mother Africa is calling her children home, the purest among her children, who have gone off into different lands And they've calibrated into that land, and they've been patient, and they've received that medicine, that wisdom. She's calling them back to sit on her lap so that we can all contemplate upon what humanity has done with that gift of creative thought. And it's not all bad. It's not all bad, because look at what we have in front of us today. Look at the three of you. It's not all bad. And it's about sitting with the mother, and I feel contemplating upon that, bringing these medicines back to heal her, so that we as a humanity have the option of moving forward in a healing direction, in a unified direction, not in a separate, not in the way that we have been, which is based on this idea of separation, which inbuilt into that is fear, of course. So hearing all three of you speak just keeps reaffirming this concept to me of us sitting in the lap of the mother in Africa, being healed, and then healing her in return. And I get this feeling that the mother doesn't really need our healing. We're just kind of 5-year-olds. She's like, yeah, come and heal me. But in actual fact, she's probably just fine. Queen Elouise, maybe you'd like to share a little bit about what you've heard from these incredible ladies.
Well, I would really like to latch on to both of them, and as both of them were speaking, it resonated in my spirit that we are really coming back to the womb. You see, from where all of these nations were birthed. And like you've also just alluded to, that the healing must take place. I'm thinking of if when we give birth, then I know that this is how our elders, before I became an elder, our elders had taught us that after you've given birth, they give us some herbs to clean out the womb. So that this will also then prepare you for another time of maybe conceiving, or just so that you are cleaned from the inside and you are a healthy person. Because you have to be healthy in order to train up children now, which will be your legacy and your generations to come. So what is happening, as what I see in the spirit, is that when we all come together from the different walks of life, we come together to the cradle of mankind, and we start cleaning out this womb. Because I sense in my spirit that the womb was not cleaned. So that is why our indigeneity had gone out, and there's no cleanliness and purification of the womb. Now the spirit and our ancestors are bringing everybody back together, and we are going. And the significant part is that we're going to Cape Point, where the two oceans meet each other. Now, when we give birth, we first have water that breaks. So we're going to go into that portal so that the healing can take place there in order for our globe to be healed. That is just what I gathered from these awesome women. And I am so humbled to be in your company. Thank you, Dominic, for affording me this opportunity to sit in the company of these great women.
Wow. Beautiful, beautiful. Look at this. I can feel this energy building so strongly toward our gathering in person. It's so fantastic. Aunty Puna, perhaps you'd like to share a little bit. I mean, I don't want to limit anything with questions, but I am curious.
I will share.
Go.
Dear. What you say, Queen Elouise, what you say, Kobo, it is this truth. We all need this kind of candy for the soul. I don't know how else to express that.
Wow.
Candy for the soul, because that little bit of mea ono, we say mea ono, when things are delicious, it's onolicious, it's delicious, but we say mea ono, to eat of things that fulfill us, take care of us. When I describe that aloha, yes, the first, kindness for ourselves, family, and then olu olu. When people are olu olu, it's like this. candy for the soul. You can't get enough of that, you know? You want to be in that existence all the time. Yeah? You want to be in that place of appreciation and gratitude. And then when you think about that olu olu, there is an expression like you, Dominic, your little one, that essence. You inhale that essence, and it's pure light that arrives with us at our conception and is part of who we are, you know? And when you think about ha'a in that word aloha, and I'm going to go there, ha'a is to be humble. We all being here in the presence of one another right now, right? It is because we all share. We have something that you have, that you awaken me to, that you have, Gobo, that you awaken me to, you know, and you, Dominic, these babies that we are gifted with, these things that are put into our hands, you know, when they're given to us this way, our ability is to turn it over, right? Create an altar of appreciation and gratitude. And that cannot happen without being humble to realize that that is a continuation. It is not meant for us to be singular. It has always been that we would be all a part of this wonderful expression of life. That last letter, aho nui, in that word aloha, the last one, is probably the one we all have the hardest time with, which is patience. You know, I'm a very impatient person. I would like to see everything happen right now. And I know that that is a human quality, right? But without the patience, our inability to be kind to ourselves, to be thoughtful, and to appreciate, you know, children, family, water, land, Hawaiian, we call it Hawaiian money. Hawaiian money is family. So, you know, our families are very large. And water, the resources that we've all been given, and land. So it's not the acquisition of gathering. It is the understanding of having these things that helps to ensure what will come after us. So I'm so thankful for having this opportunity, Dominic, to be here and receive this candy for the soul, because it just gives us that much more mileage, that much more opportunity for us to be in gratitude and to be in appreciation. So I kuno to all of you that are present. I kuno, meaning I am humbled to be in the existence and in the reality of all that is. Mahalo for this opportunity. Mahalo.
Thank you, Aunty Puna, so much. You know, and you mentioned for everybody at home to know, my wife and I had a child about 3 weeks ago, a very beautiful girl called Leela. And she's stunning. I hope maybe you'll get to meet her at some point, but she won't be coming to South Africa, unfortunately. But, you know, obviously organizing this gathering, there's a lot of plates spinning. There's a lot of things that need to go into it. And, but I'm quite deliberately attending also to Leela, because she needs me in this time as her father.
Absolutely.
Clearly. Not quite as much as her mother maybe, but she still needs her father. And, you know, every night I'll come in quite tired from all the work I've been doing, and I'll hold her, and there is just this extraordinary purity there that everyone who's ever held a newborn baby knows. But there's a divinity to it. There's when she was born, someone said to me beforehand, I can't even think who it was now, but they said to me, you know, when your child is born, you'll feel God is in the room. You'll feel the angels. And that feels like a saying, doesn't it? It's the kind of thing we hear. And sure enough, both with Neo and with her, wow, the celestial light that poured in, and the emotion, and the the immediate humility and gratitude and the grace. And it hasn't left our house yet. Our house is still filled with this incredible celestial light. So thank you for referencing that, Aunty Puna, because it's palpable and it's helped me enormously with what I've been working on, to have that purity in my arms, to bring me back into myself when I get too lost in my thoughts. So yeah, what an extraordinary conversation, more than a conversation, more than a transmission. And I'm so grateful to all of you for making yourselves available. And I'm also grateful to all of you for the lives that you've lived to be able to become a conduit for this extraordinary wisdom and these frequencies. I can feel them rolling off all of you, just this motherly love. It's so beautiful. I'm sure we all can. So I want to thank you all from the bottom of my heart for making the time, and also for making the time to come to this gathering, because I also understand that you have communities to tend to, you have enormous responsibilities. In Aunty Puna's case, she's traveling, I think, for 30 hours to come to us in South Africa. So I just want to acknowledge that on this call, while I get the chance to thank you all for that commitment and that sacrifice. And I promise you we'll do the best we can in looking after you all while you're on the ground. That's our job. So that's really it for me. I'd like maybe for each of you to share some closing comments based upon what you've experienced here today. Anything you'd like to share? Maybe Queen Elouise can start us off.
All right.
Anyone who wants to sing, I'm just saying, I'm not against it. If you want to sing, don't worry.
I really wanna. It feels as if we can go on forever. I can sit at your feet, Aunty Puna and Gogo. I can sit at your feet and just soak in the wisdom of expression and all of that. I just feel I can never learn and get enough of what you're saying. Unfortunately, we have to come to an end, and we've actually come to closing remarks. So I am very grateful, and I think I know that both of you have said this before, and I'm echoing the fact that I'm also very humbled to be part of this. This is an auspicious event. This is the start of healing on another level, because we will heal as a indigenous people, and we will heal to the extent that we will heal the world, which is so much in need of divine healing. And these elders are coming because they are the people, or I should include myself because I'll be receiving you here. But we are the people that the Great Spirit and our ancestors had selected to preserve our heritage and to come together, bring all the different gifts together, combine and merge it and make a powerful tool, create a powerful tool to heal the world. Not one of our countries or lands, but to heal the world, which are in dire straits and which needs healing. And I do believe, Aunty Puna, Gogo, Dominic, I do believe that the healing will flow from us when we come and we combine in total humility, so that the Great Spirit and the ancestors can work through us, in and through us, for the furtherance and the healing of our people. I'm looking forward to receiving you on our soil. I am so looking forward. I don't know whether I'll be able to sleep for the next week, few days that leads up to our meeting. And I refuse to have blue rings around and dark circles around my eyes because of you. Because you will be the cause of me not sleeping, especially after I've met with you on this platform and in this manner. I want to thank you, Dominic, for just connecting the three of us. Thank you so much. I know that God will bless you. And I'm excited about the birth of your baby. I am looking forward to the day that I will meet her. I am grateful that that she will grow up to be a instrument, because what you are sowing into all of us, she will have to reap that eventually, and she will just take the legacy that you are planting now. She will take it further, and the blessing that God Himself had given into the lap of you and your wife. We want to thank God along with you for that. Ladies, it was great meeting you, and God bless.
Likewise.
Thank you so much. Aunty Puna.
Our queen, Lili'uokalani, Kalani, when she was imprisoned, she would write, this is a short answer. She would write and on the old newspapers, and all the trash was taken out. And the people would look for the trash because she would write songs or messages to her people this way. And one, she wrote, Ho'okahi puana kou pu'uai, I ka po'e I aloha, I ka lahui. And it said, Ho'okahi puana kou pu'uai, I ka po'e I aloha, I ka lahui. What was happening was she was told her people were going to rise up and go and fight and get her out of her prison. And she sent this message, and it said, Ho'okahi, Ho'okahi puana, let us be one with one another. Ho'okahi puana, ko pu'uwai, we are the people of the heart. Yeah? Let us come together, the people of the heart. Ika po'e I aloha, with aloha. Ika lahui, because we are one. And so I end with that thought. Here we are. In the words of our queen, she is saying, we do not have to do this. All we have to do is come together in spirit, in love and appreciation, and be one lahui, one family. So she ended the uprising with all written on a piece of paper, thrown away in the trash, and it stopped the rebellion that would have happened to take her out of her prison. You know, but the simple words given at the proper time. And that is what I feel, Dominic, you have given. We are having the opportunity. Thank you to both of you queens. Thank you very much for giving us the opportunity to come together as a lahui. Mahalo.
Hey.
Mahalo. That's wow. Isn't it incredible how this same texture, that same frequency ripples through Martin Luther King and Gandhi and all these and Nelson Mandela and all these incredible souls who share that same message of unity despite being in the most difficult of circumstances. There's a message there for all of us, I think. Thank you, Aunty Puna. You know how much I love you. Thank you so much. Gobo.
I feel also called to let it rain, let it rain. I never lie. Let it rain, let it rain. I never lie. I never lie. I never lie. So let it rain. Let the rain wash away whatever is worrying us, whatever hurdles that we come across. Let it cleanse us. Let it nourish us. Let the waters. The rains will be here when you come in November. It's a beautiful time in South Africa, and they will be welcoming. September is the African New Year, so we have just seen our seeds sprout out. We've just seen our flowers blooming. And it is a time when they will be in full bloom. And what a beautiful time to come. So I just really just want to give my deepest gratitude to your vision. Dominic, and I know it's not just you, but you have been the glue that pulls us all together. You are a new dad. You're supposed to get home and taking care of your baby, and you're here putting things together, making sure there's connection. And I really just want to thank you. I personally am not taking any of this for granted, and I trust. And after this beautiful candy for the soul, as Aunty Puna so beautifully placed it, that you will be replenished, you will be nourished,
Yes.
and all the depletion that was beginning to set in, that you will leave here feeling recharged until we see you in South Africa. To the beautiful, amazing Izimbogodo, that's what we call the rocks, the women in our country. We say Imbogodo, the rocks, to the beautiful two Izimbogodo. I want to say from the bottom of my heart, thank you for nourishing. Thank you for, when I stand up here, I think I will be taller than the 1.5 meters. That's how I feel in the presence of this greatness. I'm so grateful that we are connected. I feel like I have received the medicine. And you were right that maybe it's not me that was speaking. It's just the joy and the gratitude that the ancestors of this land, that the great mother is speaking and saying, come, cannot wait. Because the co-creation that is going to happen here is going to be magical, because it's for the highest good of all. And we do it so joyful. So I really just want to say, for everything, Queen Elouise, Aunty Puna, I want to say mahalo, Gangans, Togo. Thank you so much. Togo-san, Gangans, thank you so much for the spirit of the great people, the best people. Thank you, thank you. More than I could ever say. Thank you so much. May the spirit of Ubuntu continue to hold us together. May it be the fragile thread that continues to connect us to each other until we can see each other and hug each other, because I love hug.
Kai.
Gangans, mahalo.
Nabetsi, Tikuap, Nabetsi.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you all. Thank you, Gobo. And I'd just like to say a final acknowledgement to Sri Mahanji, my guru, who's the force behind all of this, who's with us now. I'm sure we can all feel the presence of him and his peerless lineage of Himalayan masters that are guiding this whole movie, this whole beautiful play. So thank you to him. Thank you to you all. Thank you to your ancestors and mine. And I'm so very excited to see you all in person soon. Thank you so much.
God, thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you, Maha.